Hi guys, I'm Mark and I'm an oyster boy, and today I'm back again with the iGulu F1 brewing machine, and today I'm going to be making some kombucha. Now kombucha is something I've never made before. Apparently it's really good for gut health, full of really healthy hippie things, and I'm going to give it a go. So ingredients wise, you're not going to need a huge amount, and most of the things that you'll have lying around. One of them you probably definitely won't. What we've got here is a load of tea bags. I've got 10 tea bags. This is Yorkshire tea, it's the best tea in the UK by a country mile. I've also got 240 grams of sugar, just normal table sugar. I'll be mixing this with 4 litres of water, and I've got a SCOBY, an organic kombucha SCOBY, which I purchased from Amazon. Link in the description down below should you want to pick these up. SCOBY stands for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, and this is going to eat away all the sugars and make our nice fermented kombucha. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to mix this 240 grams of sugar and 10 tea bags into 4 litres of just off the boiled water. I'm going to leave the tea bags to steep in there for probably about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and then take them out, and then I'm going to cool that down to room temperature by just sitting it in a sink full of cold water. I'm not going to show you me doing that because I'm sure you can all imagine what me tipping a small bowl of sugar and 10 tea bags in some water looks like. I'll come back once it's cooled down and I will add it into the iGulu and see where we go from there. So, catch you very shortly. Okay, so we're back and that's all done. I've mixed it up, left it 20 minutes, cooled it all down, and here we've got 4 litres of sweet tea, basically, sweet strong tea. Now what I'm gonna do is take this SCOBY, I'm gonna dunk the bag in some Star San to make sure it's all sanitized and clean and everything, and then I'm just going to whip the top off and pour it in. Now this comes with like loads of juice in it. It's not juice, it's old kombucha, I guess. So and it's quite acidic, so you'll use that as like a SCOBY starter. Makes a nice environment in there. And we are going to get it in, close up the lid, and put it in the iGulu. So let's give this a quick little dunk in my bucket of Star San. And this one comes in a handy little packet where you just whip the top off like that. And I should now be able to just open this up. It's a pretty funky looking thing if you've never seen a SCOBY before. It looks like a big fat, like American style pancake made of snot. So we'll just pour this in. Smells kind of vinegary in a way, which is what you want. Oh, 2, lucky me. And there you go, now you can see them floating in there. They look disgusting. I'm going to get the lid on, and I'm going to shove it into the iGulu. Okay, so let's whack the lid on. Push it down. And then you get your clamp. And, oh, what have we done wrong here? And clamp it around there. Now, apparently when you ferment kombucha, you don't want to do it under pressure, and if anyone's used an iGulu before, you know it's just a pressure tank, basically, and there's no automatic pressure relief valve. But this thing here, what I'm going to do, very simply, I'm going to get 2 coins. These are 2 euro coins, because I had them in the drawer. I'm just going to pop them on there. I'm going to lift the pressure relief up, and I'm just going to wedge the coins under the side of there. So now it will just release pressure as it ferments. So, time to take this, lift that up. Ooh. Plonk it inside. And there we go. It's in. Now I've already made a fermentation profile for this in the iGulu app, which is just going to run it at like 24, 25 degrees for 10 days. So I've sent that to the iGulu already. So just click on fermentation, scroll down until you find the step that you want, which is kombucha, and click brew. And now it's just going to hold that at a stable temperature for 10 days. I'll have a look at it, see if everything's done, and then I'll come back and add some fruit. Might be raspberries, might be blueberries, depends on what really I've got on hand. I'll just dump that in. So I'll come back when it's ready. Okay, so we are back and the first fermentation is finished, and now I've just got to get the SCOBYs out of the iGulu. Slippery little buggers, there we go. fell back in, but don't worry, I will retrieve it. So yeah, you want to take these out before you add your fruit in for the secondary fermentation, and you want to have like a clean, sterilised or clean sanitised. It's definitely sanitised, not sterilised. I didn't burn the hell out of it. I just put some Starsan in there. Sanitised container ready to put them in, and you can see there's two very healthy, very chunky looking scobies going in there. And I'm going to take that off to one side and keep that until I want to make another batch of kombucha, just checking around to see there's not anything else hanging around in there. Don't think there is. Nope, we're all good. And then when you store your SCOBY, you actually want to put some of the kombucha in there. Now, I've got some SCOBY starter liquid, which I'm going to pour into that, which I took out before I started filming, but you want to keep it in there to keep it nice and healthy. Now, for the fruit additions I'm using, I'm ignoring what the hippies say when it's got to be fresh, organic, and lovely, healthy things, and I'm just using some frozen strawberries and frozen raspberries that I picked up at my local Aldi, because it's what I had available in the freezer, and I'm cheap. So I've opened up the bag a bit more so I can chock a load of those in there, and I've got, I don't know, they were half open bags in the freezer. I'm going to say about 150 grams of strawberries and maybe about 150 grams of raspberries, which I'm putting in a 1 gallon batch. Maybe, actually looking at that, maybe more raspberries, maybe 250 grams of raspberries going in there by the look of things. But fingers crossed, we will hope that this is going to be delicious. So once they're all in there, might as well finish off the bag. I'm not going to use it for anything else. Maybe my wife might force me to have overnight oats for breakfast, not sure. But we will now close up, I think, the iGulu, put the lid back on after it's been in some Starsan, make sure it's nice and clean, push that lid down, and then we're going to close it up with the nice closure device as well, and then we will come back and taste this in another sort of week or 10 days. So I will catch you on the other side. Okay guys, back again. Last time you saw me putting the fruit into the kombucha. After that, I loaded it back into the iGulu, sealed it all up, didn't vent the pressure at all this time, just let it go wild, build up some carbonation in there as it fermented. It's probably been about a week, maybe 10 days since I put this in here. You might notice I'm a little browner than the last video. I've been on holiday while it's been going on. So now I'm back though, it's time to try this kombucha, talk about how I think it's gone, and also any tips that I could give you, because there are a few things that I've learned from doing kombucha in the iGulu, which I think would probably help if you're going to go down this route. Some things that you can get online, not from iGulu, but other suppliers, which will fit this device and make your life a bit easier. So without further ado, here's a nice clean glass, and we're just going to pour some of this in here. Now, if you remember, it was still pretty brown from the just the tea. It's now a lovely sort of pinky colour, if I hold that up to the camera there. Nicely carbonated with a little bit of head on there. I mean, it looks nice. It looks like a kombucha would look. Smells, yeah, it's got that, it's not overly vinegary. I mean, when I say vinegary, it's not a bad thing. Kombucha sometimes, it's very tart, but sometimes has like a really sour, vinegary smell to it. This one doesn't really have that much of that. You can really still smell the strawberries and the raspberries that I put in there, which smell great, and I'm just going to dive in and give it a taste. Yeah, it's definitely kombucha. It's very tart, quite dry, but really, really strong pronounced, oh, it's a little drip on my finger there, really strong pronounced strawberry and raspberry flavours, which is actually really lovely. It's very refreshing. And if you believe the hippies, it's incredibly good for you as well. So yeah, I would call this a success. It's chilled very cold, it's about 2 degrees in this thing at the moment. So it's very enjoyable because it's very hot here at the moment. But what have I learned from making kombucha in the iGulu? Well, primary fermentation, or F1, some kombucha nerds call it, went absolutely fine, no problems. That was really easy. That was just the sweet tea and the SCOBY in the iGulu. Using a couple of coins jammed under the pressure relief valve worked an absolute dream. So I'd recommend that rather than going out and paying for something to keep that valve open. Adding the stuff in for the second fermentation was fine. Fishing the SCOBY out was a bit of a pain with the tongs, I will say that, but you know, kind of is what it is. Delicious. But I found that after I put the lid back on, when I first went to tap it, the pickup tube in the iGulu internal vessel quickly got blocked with fruit pulp. Now, I've overcome that by taking it out and replacing it with a floating dip tube that I would normally use in a corny keg. I'll put a picture of one up on the screen. And at the end of the floating dip tube, I've got like a filter cage that if I'm fermenting beer, it would stop the hop matter being drawn up through the pipe and making its way into my pint, or blocking the valves at the top. So I'll put a picture on the screen and a link in the description down below of what you can use. And I've got one of those currently attached inside there now. So it's actually drawing from the top of the vessel rather than the bottom, and it's filtering out any crap before it gets stuck in the pipe, because it was just blocking the tap. There was nothing coming out at all. And you know, other than that, it went relatively smoothly. You could do this process a lot quicker than I did. I probably took about 4 weeks start to finish. I think really you could probably do 1 to 2 weeks for the primary fermentation. It was definitely finished after about 10 days, I think, because you've got such good temperature control on this as well. It's really easy to sort of find that sweet spot and get it done at as quick as you want to suit yourself. And then after I added the fruit, I could have stopped it after a few days, but I just wasn't here. So it's ridden on longer, but to no detriment at all, because it's still kept within that sealed vessel. After I added the fruit, it just built up its own pressure. There was nothing that could really go wrong with it at that point. And yeah, now it's a fantastic tasting drink. Would I do it again? Yes, I think I would. Once you've bought the SCOBY, that's your most expensive thing when you're making this. I think the SCOBY that I got was either 10 or 15 pounds. If you are so inclined, you could go and buy a bottle of kombucha, like raw kombucha, and you could just grow your own SCOBY from there and just keep scaling it up, and every time you use it, it'll get bigger and end up splitting, and then you have more and more. You can share it with your friends. Great. I was lazy. I bought one. It's easy. But once you've got one, you can just continue to use it. So the first time you make it, it's going to cost you, I don't know, 15 quid for ingredients, because tea bags are cheap. And then plus your fruit. If you've got fruit that you can use from your own garden, absolutely incredible. Penny will be using poo bags full of raspberries for his, I'm sure. But if you've got fruit you can use, great. I used frozen fruit, and I probably used a couple of quid's worth. So the first time I've made it, it's cost me maybe, let's say £17 for a gallon, 4.5 litres pretty much. And then the second time you make it, tea bags cost next to nothing, or loose tea also costs next to nothing. And then after that, you're only going to be paying the price of the fruit addition that you put in, because your SCOBY is there and it's going to continually grow. So it's a very, very cheap way to make a drink that costs, you know, over £1 a can if you go out and buy it, or a couple of quid a bottle. If you're in a fancy coffee shop having your breakfast, it's like 5 quid for a bottle of kombucha, which is absolutely wild. You know, that's crazy prices. But kombucha in the iGulu, there you go. For me, a resounding success. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Smash like, hit subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Oysters out. Hi guys, back again, and we're going to try a bit of kombucha, which I've made on the iGulu F1, which is behind me. I've already tried it and I've talked a bit about it, which may or may not still be in the video, depending on what happens if Penny ever watches the things that I send him.
In a rush.
So, do you want to try the kombucha that I made?
I do want to try the kombucha.
Oh, what a surprise, yeah. Let's pour you some, shall we?
I can't remember now. Oh, it's pink.
I told you, it's strawberry and raspberry, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. So kombucha, obviously you bought the SCOBY, you've kombucha'd it.
I've kombucha'd it.
So obviously with normal beer yeast, when it ferments, it sort of poops out, I guess you could say, alcohol. What happens with this? What does this poop out?
There's so little sugar in it compared to what would be in there if you're making beer.
It's slightly alcoholic?
It will be slightly alcoholic, yeah, okay. But we're not really concerned about the levels of alcohol that are in there.
No, I'm just curious.
But do you like kombucha?
I do, yeah. I don't drink it that regularly because obviously you have to make it.
Or buy it. And it's expensive to buy.
It's expensive. It's too expensive. It's ridiculous because basically all they're doing is adding sugar, tea,
and a bit of fruit.
Well, some of them aren't even fruit.
Yeah, so, ginger and turmeric.
Yeah.
Two cheapest things.
It should be as cheap as fizzy water, personally, which is overpriced as well. But anyway, so if you're after a way to make kombucha,
yeah,
this could be a good.
So this is strawberry and raspberry.
Okay.
It's tea bags, sugar, the SCOBY, and then strawberries and raspberries. Okay. And the tea bags that I use, obviously, Yorkshire tea.
Right, okay. You say obviously because...
The best tea in the country, hey?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, fair enough.
And I don't subscribe to what the hippies say about, it's got to be this organic
Well, no, it's they
loose leaf
bleach the tea bags.
Yeah,
do you like drinking bleach?
I love it.
Okay, there we go. Well, if you like drinking bleach, keep with
And it's made with frozen fruit from Aldi.
I've got no problem with frozen fruit from Aldi.
What do you reckon?
Bleach tea bag.
Looks like kombucha, doesn't it?
Looks like it's got bleach in it.
I'm not going to go and give it an oyster score because it's not a beer, but it looks good. I think.
It smells great.
I know, mate. I know you love raspberries.
I do love raspberries.
It's a good strawberry and raspberry smell. I think the fruit smells really nice in it.
Yes.
Should we try it?
Yeah, let's dig in. Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, that's kombucha, all right.
I told you. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's really good.
Do you know what? I think if they sold that instead of non-alcoholic beer, it would go down better.
I would rather have that in a pub.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that this hasn't... I think the last time I bought kombucha, I was in a place called Broadway, not in America, in the UK. And we were in like a really nice little cafe having some brunch, and a bottle of kombucha cost me £5.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
This is delicious, but I wouldn't pay fucking £5 for it.
No.
But it's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, there's more that goes into making beer
Oh yeah,
than it goes
way
into
more.
this.
Yeah.
So why is it
Plus
priced
tax.
the same? But yeah, I mean,
you're not paying alcohol tax on kombucha. It's still rather expensive.
So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I'd smash that in all day long, mate. And think how healthy our guts will be.
My belly is now loving me. That's it. You can drink 10 pints now and feel good the next day.
I love that. I really enjoyed that.
I think that's really nice. Yeah, really, really super tasty. Done a good job there.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Hope you've enjoyed that. And I'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah.
Oysters out.